All right, my friends. So a guy emailed me yesterday, kind of upset that I said I'm trying to pay down my mortgage as opposed to keeping my my cash like I had said before. I changed my mind on occasion, believe it or not. I mean, this is why you got to do your own financial planning because, or at least have a sense of your own financial plan. Just because I say this is what I'm doing doesn't mean you should be doing it necessarily. But, he made a good point. He goes, wait, before you're saying don't pay down your mortgage. Yeah. So let me give you my example. I owe $365 on my mortgage, and I got $70,000 in my bank account, my checking account, my savings account, Navy Federal. I don't know what it is, but I want that under $300,000. And today I'm actually going to the bank right now. I'm going to move $70,000 or $65,000 from my savings account to my mortgage to get that sucker below $300,000. And that doesn't leave me a lot of equity, a lot of liquidity. I should say equity, a lot of liquidity. Now, I was talking to a guy this morning, a client, and he's in a little bit different situation than I, because he's also heard me go into retirement with no mortgage. So he said he doesn't have that. He only got like $10,000 in cash, and he's like, man, I'm putting all this money against my mortgage, putting all this money against my mortgage. But what's different for him is between he and his wife and his Social Security and his pension, they're going to have like $135,000 of guaranteed income in 10 years. And he doesn't have a huge cash account. He only got $10,000, and he doesn't have a huge amount. He's got $500,000. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but he's not sitting on multi-millions here. He doesn't need it because he's got tons of Social Security income. But what I was telling him, his mortgage isn't very high in terms of his primary mortgage. He's paying $2,000 a month on $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year. Only like $3,000 of that $24,000 a year is going to interest. So I was like, man, don't pay that guy down. It's just, because everything else is just principal. You're just paying yourself back. We got to build up some liquidity. And on top of it, I said, look, man, the issue is even if you go into retirement with debt, your pension and your Social Security, they can cover that debt. That's not an issue. So he's in a whole different ballpark than most of us. And a good guy, it works. He just good guy. I'm not gonna say much more. He's about 5 years older than me, and I'm 51. So he's getting the pushback at his gig about Jabba Jabba, about CRT and all that crap. And he's been there for a long time, man. And he's getting the pushback that I'm not because I'm self-employed. And the only thing I could get pushback on, as we see here today, is y'all never hire me again and YouTube bans me. So, those are possibilities, I grant you. You know what I'm saying? And that is a possibility. Is it a distinct possibility? Probably not on some occasion, but it certainly could be. And if it is, I don't make any more money again, then paying down my mortgage would be a foolhardy mistake. So, I'm going to sneeze. Jabba jabba. If I jabba jabba, I wouldn't be sneezing and spreading all that disease. Because air is disease. How dare you breathe the air? I still can't believe there are literally people who are afraid to go outside. I find they've been jabba jabbed every which way to Sunday, and they're still afraid to go outside. I find this to be insane, man. Insane. It's we've done lost our minds. All there's to it. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. So for him, what I suggested to him, I said, look, dude, instead of just putting all your money in cash, because again, he's got a pension, he's got a Social Security, and he's got $500,000 in his portfolio. Instead of putting all your money just in not in cash and paying off your mortgage, he goes, well, what do I do with the excess cash flow? He's got like $3,000 a month excess cash flow. I said, man, put $2,000 into your VTI and then $1,000 into the bank account. And that's kind of what I'm doing as well. So I got $2,000 a month I got going into VTI, all right? And I'm paying an extra $1,500 a month on my mortgage. And that's kind of like my emergency accounts. But I also have a $90,000 home equity line of credit with nothing on there. So I still got $10,000 in an emergency account, which is truly an emergency account. I don't want to touch that. But for me, the risk is that as it's not likely I lose my income tomorrow. It might be I lose my income come January 1st. So I have a pretty good idea what kind of income I'll make between now and January 1st. And maybe I'll repurpose that into my savings account. I don't know. But the risk to me to not have any more income being laid off isn't that high. And if it were to happen, I have a $90,000 home equity line of credit. You see what I'm saying? I got my money I put in my VTI. That's a post-tax account, a brokerage account. I still got $10,000 in an emergency account, if that makes sense. So I still got enough money I have in which I can pay some basic bills until I find a job. I won't be destitute. The issue is I do not want to have to pull my portfolio down with a penalty, or if the markets are down, 40%. That's what I want to avoid. And I still got money in my portfolio, as does this guy too. So where I'm going with this, as much as I'd love to have a nice $100,000 in cash, us driving to that, look, I'm kind of impulsive. I just want to get my mortgage below $300,000. I haven't had a mortgage that low in a long time, and I still got a long way to go, man. You know what I'm saying? Still got a long way to go. But if I keep plugging money into my, paying $1,500 extra a month on my mortgage, keep plugging money into VTI, $2,000 a month. I still got my $10,000 in savings. I still got my home equity line of credit. I could even raise that, I imagine. If I keep doing that, I'll have enough liquidity to be able to afford having paid all towards my mortgage. And I'm paying 3.25% interest rate. So I don't know exactly what that would save me in terms of interest, but I'm paying $1,000 a month in interest right now. You see what I'm saying? So every $10,000 I put against my mortgage is, that's going to be, 3.25% on $10,000. That's $325 less interest I have to pay on an annual basis, right? 10%, yeah, $325, right? Yeah. So I know it's a risk. Life is full of risks, but I'm not taking a risk and putting the equity market notice. I'm taking a risk by paying off debt, and that's a risk that I'm willing to take. Now I did that. I took $60,000 off my VTI in April, paid long-term capital gain, and it turned out that cost me. That could be worth, could have been worth another $5,000 because the market's probably gone up 10% since then. That's a risk too. At the end of the day, you're taking risks. Now, I still have money in the market. My IRA and my Roth are still fully invested in stocks. I still have a little bit of cash. The big thing I got is I got that equity line of credit, and that will give me, again, that is borrowing. If things go south, I will borrow in which to put food on the table. I don't want to have to do that, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. So, you got to think about you, man. Now, my man I was talking to today, he's had more of a risk as a jabba, because they might lay him on, there might be layoffs anyway, consolidation. You don't know. Who's more at risk, him or me? I think he's more at risk for losing his job than I am, if that makes sense. So that's why he needs to load up on his liquidity as opposed to paying out his mortgage, where I'm loading up on paying down my mortgage. And given the fact that I'm still, I think, in a pretty good place, I'm willing to take that risk to reload up on my liquidity. I hope that makes sense. Love to hear your thoughts. Thanks, Sam.